Welcome to the Two Fat Guys and Album Podcast, your weekly dive into iconic albums and our search for the modern classics. This week we have glitter, we have glam, we have an androgynous alien rock star, we have the story of hope that turns into a lesson on celebrity hero worship and the excesses of modern society. Ultimately, we are left with one of the great concept albums of the 70s. The artist behind all this is David Bowie, and the album is the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more album discussions, music analysis, and music talk from two fat guys who love talking about music no matter the genre. I am Mike Blackburn. I'll be your host and narrator, and with me, as always, is my good friend, the maestro of music, the siren of sound, the doctor of the diminished chord, Brek Hufnus. Good day, Maestro.
Bears.
Go Bears. Bear down. Bears. Bear down. A lot to cover today.
Good day. Yes, big album. Big album. What are we doing in the end of this show?
We're going to look at David Bowie first, and then we're also going to dip into another concept album.
Yeah.
One from much more recent times, 2018, I believe. The Arctic Monkeys in the Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino.
Looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. It's I've listened to the album a few times. It's the first time I've kind of gone head to head with Ziggy Stardust, and
well, nobody's trying to put it head to head.
Well, if you're doing,
Ziggy Stardust is Ziggy Stardust. Everything else will pale in comparison, so we're not going head to head.
Yeah. So we generally start the show with some nuggets from the Maestro.
Yeah. Well, last show, Excitable Boy, Warren Zevon, and Everybody Scream by Florence and the Machines. And then the cleanup and nuggets usually have to do with how many questions you ask me that I don't know the answer to. And you were very inquisitive last last show. Yeah. We did start here. Here's a nugget to start with, because we were talking about Rush possibly going to see them.
Right.
And the in-the-door price was $172.
Yeah.
But apparently the money's rolling in, and you wanted the front row or whatever.
Well, I wanted to be like where we could actually see them.
First row center.
Ooh.
Could probably see pretty well from there.
Yeah.
$10,747.
It's a lot for a cover band.
For one seat.
It's a lot for a cover band.
15th row, which is where we sat. Those are the best seats I've ever had, I think, personally, for a stadium show. 15th row center, $2,507.
How about, first balcony?
I didn't get that. You told me you wanted the carried in on one of those things.
So if I give you the $2,000 for my seat, are you in for the other one?
What?
If I hand you an envelope with $2,000 whatever dollars for the one seat, are you in for the other one?
No, I don't think so. When we saw them in 1988.
Yeah.
I couldn't find our exact ticket, although you probably have it somewhere.
It in there, yeah.
But I did find online a ticket stub picture. Section 109, which is not the main floor at the Rosemont Horizon. It's like the seats on the sides, the arena seats, not the floor seats. $17.50.
Yeah, what year was that?
1988.
All right. So I have...
Although we saw them probably earlier than that. We probably saw them in 86, I'm guessing. Yeah. I just couldn't find that ticket stub.
I've been going through my ticket stubs, and I have half of a ticket stub here from 1985, Thursday, May 23rd, 1985. At the Auditorium Theater, I went and saw Van Morrison.
Oh, nice. And for those who don't know, the Auditorium Theater is a It's not an arena; it's a theater, but it's a fairly large theater, as I recall. It's one of the bigger size theaters.
Aisle 3, so I'm assuming that's on the one. That's on the side.
The left or the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Row N, it looks like seat 2.
Okay.
Was $16.
Yeah. Those are some good seats.
Yeah.
I'd pay that.
To
see Van. Yeah. So, anyways, that's the update on the current price to go see Rush. Right. Somewhere between $172 and $10,747.
All right.
And no, I don't think I'm in for $2,500.
Yeah.
Well, you were saying, really? I mean, honestly, are you just?
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a cover band,
right? Yeah. No, I'm a no for $2,500.
What kind of seats are those?
What do you mean?
Well,
they're 15th row on the floor.
Yeah.
Center.
So what are the chairs padded?
Yeah, they're going to be like folding chairs.
And if
you're in the arena. It's in a hockey arena or a basketball arena. It's at the United Center.
Right.
So the seats are folding chairs.
So what I want,
are they recliners? They're not recliners.
What I want,
yeah,
is the seats that are right behind the boxes or the rails of the ice part of the United Center.
Mm-hmm.
The first 10 or 15 rows there are wide padded seats.
Okay.
For the premier hockey seats.
Right.
So those seats would be really comfortable. The problem with being even 15th row for $2,500 on the floor is, one, they're probably not as comfortable as the seats in the actual...
The padded seats.
The padded seats in the actual arena.
Right, so you're talking about like the 100 level going back a little bit with a little bit of elevation.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll have a nugget for next time. I'll look up those.
The other problem with 15th row, even recalling some of the concerts we've seen like that, is nobody actually uses the seats when
you're
the music starts.
Most of the time, is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm in like the first row, first balcony, or the first row of the 100 section, I can sit in my padded seat and enjoy the show, probably even with my feet up on the rail.
All right. Well,
or the box part.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly
what
you're saying.
You got to think this through, man.
I wasn't thinking it through. I was trying to answer your question.
You were being all like, $2,500.
It's a lot of money.
It is for a cover band.
Keep saying that.
Well, it's no longer Rush.
It's 2/3 Rush,
and all cover band. Yeah.
All right.
Where are we going to cover the as you probably
got. So what if? Sorry. So if you were going to see Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson,
I don't think they dare call themselves Rush, right? Would they?
I think they are calling themselves Rush. If you're seeing Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, and then they found a drummer, that's pretty close to Rush.
So what you're saying is that the drummer doesn't matter?
I'm not saying that.
So Zeppelin should have gone on after...
The Who did.
The Who did.
And they went on. Your favorite band, the all-time greatest band in rock and roll history, was a cover band after 1975 or whatever.
Do you have to say that with jazz
hands?
Jazz
hands, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a jazz hand situation.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think if it's not the band, then it's a cover band. And it's not the band because the trio isn't all there.
We've seen the Who several times.
Several times.
We've seen the cover band of the Who several times.
Has this iteration of Rush, as you are distinguishing, released any new music? Or are they just covering their old music?
They're playing their old songs.
Uh-huh.
They're playing their music.
So the Who that we saw had released new music. It was another iteration of the Who, just like Genesis after Peter Gabriel left was still Genesis.
All right, so it was a different iteration. So that's the definition. I think that if they release something new under that iteration with that lineup, then it is a legitimate.
It's a new Rush. Yeah.
Okay, I mean that's fair.
Yeah.
But I'm still not gonna. I mean, it's Rush without Neil Peart.
Which half the reason we went to see Rush was to see the drama.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
no doubt. Or at least a third of the reason.
Okay. Yes.
So there's some cleanup. Moving on. So we did. I do think. Last show, by the way, we did a lot of best of 2025s.
We did.
Yeah. So I just want to say, I think I'm almost positive this show will be our best show of 2026. Just certain of that right now.
Because
It's essentially the first show of 2026.
it's not.
Kind of the second. What do you mean it's not?
This is episode 33. We have 31, 32, 33.
Right, but it's early, very early in 2026 right now. Like the actual recording of the show is happening right now.
So you were trying to make like a 2026 joke
Yes.
of this was our first show.
Of
and so it would
2026.
be the best, although it's
Yes.
the third show and not even the first one we recorded this.
All right, moving on. We were talking about who played drums on Ringo Starr. Not on Ringo Starr. What? So you got me now. The Beatles.
Stop hitting me with the stick.
Did you? Okay, so last show,
Killed myself
which
with
may
that
have
one.
been in 2025 or 2026, it's still up for debate. I mentioned that Ringo Starr, the very first hit that the Beatles had, Ringo Starr was not playing drums on, and I was having a really hard time pulling it. The song was, in fact, "Love Me Do." And Ringo did not. That's the one. Yeah. Ringo did not play drums on that. They had a session drummer, Andy White. He was the drummer on "Love Me Do," and that's the only Beatles song ever that was recorded without Ringo on drums, more or less. Unless you go to the White Album, where there's some debate on whether, Paul filled in and redid some tracks, but that's for another time. But did you know? Here's another fun fact. In 1964, Ringo had a throat thing. His tonsils out. He had to get his tonsils out. He had tonsillitis. It's a throat thing. It's in your throat.
Maybe you should take better notes. All right, go on.
Well, it's written down. I should just read my notes.
Yeah.
So he had. And so they in 1964. It was the midst of Beatlemania.
Uh-huh.
And they had a tour plan. They were touring Europe and Australia at that time.
And he could only eat vanilla ice cream and Jell-O?
Maybe. Yeah, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't sing for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
For those people, they got to see a Beatles cover band for 8 shows. Because Jimmy Nicol played drums with the Beatles during their tour for 8 shows.
So he could sing?
No, so he could play the drums. Ringo was sick. Are you following along? Ringo could not perform for whatever reason. He had tonsillitis. He had surgery. I think he had his tonsils out. He was
I think
out
that's
of
like an
commission.
outpatient surgery.
Now it is. In 1964, you're in the hospital.
All right.
I don't know. We don't have the miracle of modern medicine that we do today. So for whatever, I wasn't his doctor. I don't know.
Where are you going with this?
Ringo, first of all, it's a fun fact.
The fun fact nuggets.
It's just
the FFNs.
We were talking about Ringo Starr not being on the album, and I thought it was, and as it turns out, it matches up with your little Neil Peart nonsense. And so the 8 people, there were 8 shows that people were paying for the Beatles and were subjected to a cover band. All right. Here, next. This just in, the Sheepdogs still suck. I took, on episode 19, we did Automatic for the People. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Sheepdogs were the third side of that. Side. And that led to the great Sheepdogs debacle of 2025. But you've, over the course of several shows, you've proposed that Changing Colors album was the Sheepdogs being clever and just playing in different styles on purpose because they're actually talented and could have done something else.
They did a Christmas album with Bryan Adams.
Yeah, that's what you said. So I went back and listened to
that
their...
was just Christmas music, but go on.
Right. Did they appear as the Allman Brothers or Leonard Skinner on that album? Who were they copying when they were doing that? Just Bryan Adams or just Bryan Adams' backing band, basically?
Yeah.
So at any rate, I tested your theory.
Uh-huh.
Because you've proposed it on numerous occasions.
I have alluded to it. I have not proposed anything.
Like a proposal.
You've read into things.
Turns out I spot checked, several of their albums because miraculously they have more than one album.
Good band.
And every one of song that I clicked on from any various album was a direct ripoff in style from somebody else. That's all.
Well, nobody invents anything new anymore. It's just adaptation of what's already
This was a
existed.
cheap ripoff.
All
right. And then you had asked me something about Florence in the Machine, like, because I had mentioned she had, now I'm not going to be able to see it, something like 5 out of 6 of her albums were UK number ones. Mm-hmm. And then I said that the band started in 2007, and then you did some quick math, and you said, oh, so they only release an album every blah, blah, blah years. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if they... So they were formed in 2007. Their first album was Lungs in 2009. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that was a massive hit, a UK one, a US 14. Yep. They had Dog Days Are Over on it, and You've Got the Love. And then their next album was 2011, and then 2015, and then 18, and then 22. So to answer your question, yeah, they make an album every 3 years or so.
Yes.
Following up on that.
Sure. It's awesome.
And then, of course, Everybody Scream in 25, which we did last show, and I think we both liked it quite a bit.
We did. It was good.
All right. That's the nuggets. That's the cleanup.
Awesome. I really think we have such a massive album today to cover that
big
we
album.
Should probably just drop the needle on side one.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rock. In the red corner, an album that needs no introduction. Ranked the 40th greatest album of all time by Rolling Stone, and hailing from the outer reaches of the cosmos by way of London, England. It struck gold in 1972 and rocketed to number 5 in the UK and number 75 in the US. Written and performed by the Starman himself, David Bowie. This is the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. And in the blue corner, 2 fat guys. This is 2 fat guys and an album.
So this album is, to me, is kind of a, it's. I always kind of looked at it as a rock opera. It was in kind of the rock opera era. But listening to it again and kind of digging into it and knowing that it's kind of referred to in kind of reviews in the literature as a concept album.
Yeah, I would challenge the concept album thing a little bit.
Well, my first question was what, as the maestro of music, the siren of sound, the doctor of the diminished chord, what's the difference between a rock opera and a concept album?
Okay. I'm going to moderately backtrack right away on my concept album statement because I do think, I guess it's a concept album. There, you can stretch these definitions out quite a bit. I think a rock opera is an actual storyline that runs through the entire thing. We're talking clearly the Who's Tommy and the Who's Quadrophenia are
But are they
operas.
written with the theatrical piece of that in mind? Like it could be a movie, it could be a stage show.
I think the
it could
Who
be...
didn't they? I mean, I think it was like Quadrophenia was a soundtrack to a movie, right? The movie came out first, and I'm not sure about Tommy. Tommy maybe was it a movie first or was it a album first? I think they were. I think they were intended to. Okay, we've got to.
Yeah, we got to
go for next time. But I think were clearly
like The Wall was clearly written as a multiple media kind of approach.
Well, I think The Wall was clearly. First of all, it was an album first for sure.
Oh, 100%.
And then it became an album, and then it became a live performance spectacle.
And a movie.
Did I say that? A movie. I meant to say that. I don't know what
You said
mouth
album
said.
twice. Yeah.
Okay. The second time I said album, I meant to say movie.
But it's written with the, to be a rock opera, you have to have kind of, you're thinking ahead or you're thinking in a theatrical sort
Yeah,
of term.
I think one song connects clearly to the
correct.
other.
And I'm not sure this is the case with this.
I agree. It's definitely not a rock opera. For sure, it's not a rock opera. And I don't think he intended to be a rock opera. And, in fact, some of the songs were just plugged in at the last second.
Well,
like some were written for previous albums
and
then
previously released.
And previously released.
Yeah.
So this was never intended as a full-on rock opera. Now, are there some ideas that run through the album? Sure.
There's an overarching story.
There's an overarching sort of theme and story to it.
Yeah. We can talk about that in a second.
But I think the second half of the album is much more of a tighter story. The first half of the album, you could say it fits the concept, but I don't think the storyline carries through for it.
But that's I would argue a little bit with that, because I think like the opening song, 5 Years, is the setup to, is talking about, it sets the stage for the rest of the concept. Mm-hmm. 5 years left for this planet or this society to live, and the apocalypse is coming.
Right.
5 years.
Right. Yeah, I could go. I mean, yes and no. I just think it's. I'll accept it as a concept album, but not a linear story.
Yeah, it's a little.
It's a little convoluted.
It's a little.
If you're trying to just make it go from point A to B to C to D, I don't think it exactly does that. If you'd like to create a story in your own head, which I think David Bowie actually did post, after the fact, like after the album came out, he tried to sort of propose it as this story, which he'd never intended in the beginning, I don't think entirely. So he did sort of create a storyline which you could follow. But in reality, the songs were, it wasn't that tight of a story. Yeah,
so, I agree with that. All right.
Anyways.
Do you want to, before we go album song by song, do you want to do the musicians?
We talk about David Bowie, obviously a Hall of Famer, one of the biggest, most important rock stars there were and never will be, I think.
Well,
he defined glam rock, but also brought in the idea of theatricality. He was very theatrical. He's glam, but he also progressed through a number of styles. He's just a super influential musician.
So this runs kind of parallel with like Peter Gabriel, right? I mean, The Lamb is in here somewhere, right? The Lamb is 71 or
right around there.
Yeah.
So he was super theatrical. I don't know if anybody would ever call him glam.
He wasn't, but
he wasn't sparkly.
We both used. Well,
but he was he was very, very theatrical.
Theatrical, and so there's a lot of the theatrics going on at this point in rock music.
Sure.
You have the Who doing all the Who stuff with.
Yeah, I think they were trying to take. There's a lot of desire to take rock to another level, to a higher artistic level, perhaps.
Yeah, and then. So David Bowie was kind of always on the glam side of that, but still in that same lineage of the theatrics.
Definitely.
And following what was going on at the time. He wasn't like, he didn't pull out the whole concept, the concept album thing on his own. I mean, this was what was kind of happening in rock music a lot at the time.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's island.
Right.
But I mean, Bowie. Well, go ahead.
And I think he definitely had a pretty strong supporting cast. And as I was digging into this, I didn't realize how much where he did a lot lyrically. I mean, how much like that
the Spiders from Mars contributed.
The Spiders, really.
Which were actually his backing band at the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't just an album.
But they were legit musicians on their own.
Yeah. So. Yeah, if I can back up just to David Bowie, just to throw some numbers at you, and then so Hall of Famer, Rolling Stone has him as the number 32 singer. He's sandwiched between Bessie Smith and Luther Vandross.
Oof.
So I don't know. By the way, Van Morrison criminally at 37. Just had to throw that
Not number
in.
2?
Not number 2. 5 albums, 5 Bowie albums are in the Rolling Stone top 500. That's 5 albums in the top 500. And he has 6 top 500 songs. So we talk about him as a heavyweight. He's a heavyweight. He's definitely a defining figure and a pioneer in music. So,
do you have the 5? Or
I knew you were going to ask that. If you let me shuffle my papers, I might be able to pull it out for you. Probably Hunky Dory.
Yeah. Which
I
was the
find
one
it.
before this, right?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. I knew you were going to ask that question. So this album is a Rolling Stone 40, Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust. So here's a fun fact. Like my research is unreadable. The album Low from 1977 is a 206. Let me look at a second paper because this one's not. Look, I got papers, man. I don't have this stuff memorized. All right, I'm gonna try one more time here. Oh well, I tried to prepare it.
Here you go. You're good.
Those are singles. These are albums. So I don't have the exact rankings. But Black Star was the one that was released right at the very end of his life. It was his final album. The Next Day from 2013 is a Rolling Stone. Low is a Rolling Stone.
That's 77.
And then Ziggy Stardust, and one of them's
72.
missing. I'm pretty sure Hunky Dory was.
Which was like 71.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was sort of a previous. It was the previous album to this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So something like that. Apologies, I don't have it.
So
I thought I had it, and then I don't have it.
So three of his best albums were in the 70s. And then one would have been like
2013 and then 2016.
Yeah, he died in 2016?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So pretty strong.
And he's also
career.
the owner of what possibly could be the worst music video of all time.
Which one is that? Dancing in the Streets?
Dancing in the Street with Mick Jagger.
Okay. I didn't know you were going to say that, but apparently we agree. It was just kind of awkward and weird.
It had to be like in the mid-'80s, that song.
Uh-huh.
Song Dancing in the Street, it was a duet with Mick Jagger. And they did this weird, the song was Dancing in the Street.
Right, it was a cover of an
They
old
danced
Motown.
in the street, Singing in the Rain kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
It was terrible, and it was on a lot on MTV. We need to do like a 45 on the death of MTV since it's officially been killed.
What do you mean officially?
They went off the air at the end of the year.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. All right, moment of silence for MTV.
Yeah.
So then you had the Spiders of Mars, which you were also asking about. So you have Mick Ronson as the guitar player for Spiders for that. Mick Ronson, and honestly didn't know that much about it until doing the research for the show. Mm-hmm. But he's a Rolling Stone 41 guitarist. Yeah. He sounds great on the album, but I took some time to watch the concert video, and oh my goodness, can this guy play the guitar? This guy's please, anybody out there who likes this album, find the Ziggy Stardust concert film. It was the final performance of it, I think, on the tour, and Mick Ronson blew me away.
Lights it up, man.
Absolutely blew me away. This guy actually, I think, belongs in the Hall of Fame. He's that good. He's, as you said, super influential in this album.
Are the Spiders not in the Hall of Fame?
No, I don't believe the Spiders are not in the Hall of Fame. Just David Bowie.
Because there's four of them. I mean, there's four guys really get credited with the writing the songs, and it's the Trevor
Trevor
Mick,
Boulder, Mick Woodmansey, the drums,
the drummers. Trevor's on bass, and Mick is the guitar player.
Mick Ronson, guitar.
So I think it sounds like, or it feels like, David Bowie did the lyrics and the.
But the music came from. Yeah, my understanding is primarily Mick Ronson, and that's always the songwriting things. I feel like anybody that contributes should be considered a songwriter. Like if you write the guitar lick, you're as much a songwriter as the guy that wrote the lyrics. If you have a bass line that stands out, you're as much a part of that song as the lyricist.
Well, Woody Woodmansey?
Yes.
The drummer, I read an interview from him. He's the only one of the four that's still alive.
Yes.
And I read an interview from him from not that long ago, 3-4 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And he was talking about, I think, on It Ain't Easy, and that he how he came up with the drum lick in that, and it was where he was kind of channeling his inner John Bonham. Of how Bonham kind of does the
just a little bit of a drive or heavier drums,
and talking about how he developed those. So, I mean,
think about how many songs overall that come on the radio, and before the singer even sings, in the first 2 or 3 seconds, you can identify that song.
Sure.
And that's the drums or the bass or the opening guitar lick or whatever. And so those things define the songs, right away.
Yeah.
If you can identify a song in the first 2 or 3 seconds, then those musicians have helped write that song.
I guess my only point of really going into that is trying to give credit to the Spiders. Really,
they definitely deserve credit.
That it's David Bowie. You talk about Ziggy Stardust, you're talking about David Bowie, but that's a little bit of not giving credit to the artistry of the other three.
Yeah, don't sleep on the Spiders for Mars.
Yeah.
And just super fast on putting, like Mick Ronson, Hall of Famer, also had that glam rock style to him, fit in perfectly with this iteration of Bowie. Did the string arrangements, performed on Aladdin Sane, Hunky Dory, worked with Alice Cooper, worked with Ian Hunter, worked with Van the Man, worked with T-Bone Burnett, Dylan, Morrissey. Mellencamp credits him with making Jack and Diane a hit. Mellencamp had written a song, and it was just sort of sitting there, and Mick Ronson is the guy that brought it to life. Co-produced with Bowie as a producer, brought Lou Reed to fame. He was involved with the Lou Reed Transformer album, and also a session man and hired gun for all these guys. Mick Woodmansey, session guy as well. Anybody, when you hear that somebody's a session person, they know how to play their instrument better than everybody else in the world. Really, they're phenomenal.
Well, I could be totally wrong here, but I've heard that a lot of bands will record their album, and then a session drummer will come in.
Oh, that's for sure. That's not
just because it's not
good enough.
Right.
Good.
The band's drummer isn't keeping the
absolutely.
beat quite right. Yeah.
No, absolutely. The producers will do it, and a lot of times they'll do it without even telling the drummer or the band, and they'll just bring someone in to clean it up. It's been said that there are the drummer himself doesn't know that he's been replaced on the album. He thinks he's playing that well.
Don't tell Ringo.
No. Well, Ringo, no kidding. Since you brought up It Ain't Easy and the Spiders from Mars, there is a guest musician on It Ain't Easy
I saw that.
well. Yeah, Rick Wakeman, the keyboard from playing harpsichord. So not a synthesizer, but apparently an actual harpsichord.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's the band.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well let's dive into the album a little bit.
The album, as I said, I think the story is all on side 2.
I would argue with you.
Yeah, you've talked a lot already about it, but I mean, this is about the second half in particular, the rise and fall of a rock star, enjoying all the excesses of rock star life, and then
tell the whole. I mean,
crashing.
it's the story is you have
you have 5 years at the beginning to follow your train of thought.
theoretically the Earth is dying.
Yes.
Or some planet is dying. Maybe it's not the Earth.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's the Earth.
The Earth is dying.
Actually, I think it does say the Earth in the lyric.
Yeah, and then there is an alien coming.
Yes.
Arrives to save the planet.
Sort of an alien observer, a friendly alien.
Yeah, it's coming in.
Yes.
So, I mean, you hear about that. So the setup to all of that is 5 years, the very first song. The introduction of the alien and, who do we want this? What is Starman? Right? So, I mean, that's also on side 1.
Yes.
So that's the whole kind of... So now you have an alien that's coming, and he becomes a rock star. And then gets caught up in the whole thing that's destroying the planet, which is this hero worship, the excesses of society, and ends up getting killed by his own fans at the end in rock and roll suicide.
Which would not be a suicide.
Yeah, yes.
So
I've pondered that for 40 some odd years.
Yeah, so
but
I
go
mean,
on.
I don't think
It's
we
a
need to talk about this various interpretations of that. I think that's definitely one interpretation. I don't know if it's the interpretation.
What would be the other interpretation?
I don't think we need to get into it. It's so silly. It really is. I think my thought is that
Starman, Stardust, Stardust.
No, there's definitely a space.
He's
thing,
an alien.
and since you've mentioned it, Stanley Kubrick, a big influence on this album, with 2001: Space Odyssey, and then Clockwork Orange as well. Iggy Pop, Lou Reed, Alice Cooper, T-Rex, Stardust Cowboy, all influences on this album, just to back up. But I don't want to rehash the whole thing. I'll play along. I think my general look at it is that they're not the same person, that the alien does not become Ziggy Stardust. I think Ziggy Stardust is a separate person. I think the alien is just not the same person. You can sit with your mouth agape. I'm just looking at that. It's such a weak storyline. I don't even know why you want to argue about it. I think Ziggy Starman, which by the way is
we might have to recut this. We might have to have you go actually study the album and come back and talk to us again.
No, I'm just telling you, just because it's definitely a storyline. It might be the storyline even that David Bowie proposed after the fact.
Not even after the fact.
Starman was not added to the album until the last minute. It was not written as part of this album. It was they were gonna go with Chuck Berry cover song, and the record company sort of forced it onto the record because they thought it'd make a great single, not because it contributed to the concept of the album. And it turned out they were correct. It was a US 65, it was a UK 10. It's a favorite of mine. Suffragette City was on the back side, was the B side of it. So fine.
Both of those songs and Ziggy Stardust you still hear and Starr you still hear on the radio today.
Oh yeah.
No,
they're all fantastic songs.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic album. My only point is the storyline that you proposed, which is you're not making it up. It's just very, very weak. It ain't okay. So we did that. We have Soul Love. We have Moon Age Daydream. Is this where Ziggy? So Ziggy I don't even know. In Lady Stardust. Okay, I'm gonna skip to Lady Stardust here.
He's not talking about Ziggy.
What?
That song has nothing to do with Ziggy Stardust. It wasn't even originally called Lady Stardust.
Okay, go on. Tell me about Lady Stardust.
Lady Stardust is a song that was original title was a song for Mark.
All right.
And it's it was a shout out to Mark Bolan from T-Rex,
yes,
who was a glam rock,
sort of the original
glam rock.
Yeah, I mean, if
really
you,
kind of a hero to David Bowie.
Yes, if you weren't
going,
if you were gonna say, like, you can't say that Bowie invented it really because Mark Bolan invented it. Probably.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
No, I'm
saying he's on that channel. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm on board with you.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's fine. That's all fine and well and good. So are you saying that it's not part of the story? Are you saying
no,
it doesn't connect to the story?
It is all kind, and to say it's a concept, it's loosely. I'm not saying it's a novel that goes chapter by chapter, verse by verse.
Okay.
It all kind of ties together into a picture, but there is an underlying story to this, which is, the alien that comes to save us, and instead of saving us, he gets caught up in the exact same thing that's causing the destruction of the planet, and he becomes a victim of it. So it's kind of and it's something that David Bowie talked about, and how he was worried about his mental health of playing this character on stage, that he was getting kind of sucked into it. And we've talked a lot about mental health on this show.
Well, he did get
but
sucked
how
into it.
He was losing himself in Ziggy during the tour,
this time.
And he was talking about quitting music altogether when it was done, because it was just got to be too much. He was losing himself.
Right, and he did. He did lose himself. He did struggle mightily. He did sort of, it was sort of the art or the life imitating art. Where he had created this character and then succumbed to it himself, almost fatally. He had a very and then afterwards became a real proponent for mental health and all, and he was very open about it. But he definitely became Ziggy. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Well, a lot of the albums of the time kind of dealt with that whole rock and roll lifestyle and the excesses coming too much. And unfortunately, you look at that era as well, from the late 60s through, well, even today, but that definitely the late 60s through the late 70s, we lost a lot of musicians to excess.
I think there was a lot of money at that time, and a lot of freedom, and a lot of
youth, and a lot of
so
there wasn't cameras everywhere even at the time.
Right. There weren't a lot of guardrails up for these guys, and so I think they did
making their way. Yeah.
I think they did what a lot of people would have done if they were in that situation.
Suddenly, a lot of money, a lot of people around, a lot of
adulation. So I think that obviously was a very common thing, and.
All right.
I'm just gonna defer on the story because I just don't feel like litigating it, and I think it's stepping over, some really great songs here, because Lady Stardust is a great song.
It is.
I am curious, where do you come in on It Ain't Easy? Because that's my probable skip on the album.
Oh no, I think It Ain't Easy is the one I was talking to, that Woodsy or Wood. The drummer was.
Oh, right. He created that bass line.
That line.
And that's a cover song by Ron Davies. Originally recorded by Three Dog Night. Yeah. The funny thing is, David Bowie did, I think, create his own version of this song. Like, his cover of this song, really good, to the point that I honestly didn't recognize it as the other song, as the original version, until I was researching. They said, "Oh yeah, this is a cover song." I was like, "What?" Yeah. And then I listened to the original. I was like, "Oh, I know that song." Yeah. But Bowie's interpretation is quite different.
Yeah. Well, and I think it has a lot to do with Woody kind of.
Sure.
His kind of change in the beat. Just as we normally just walk through them, there's not that many songs. So 5 Years. Is to me is the setup song.
It is, for sure.
It's telling, it's giving the background to the story.
Yeah, no denial.
Then you have Soul Love, which I don't have a whole lot of commentary about.
I have a blank line. I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing.
I have the exact same thing.
I have no words. I have no comments. I don't dislike the song.
No,
it's not a skip, but it's just not.
It's there. Yeah.
All right.
And then
Moon Age Daydream.
Moon Age Daydream, which was previously released.
Right.
And what was on the B? The B side of that had "Hang On Yourself."
Okay.
So that was 1971. So the year before the release of this,
and
Moon Age
remember-
Daydream was released as a single,
Yeah.
and the "Hang On Yourself"
And remember,
was on the
this was
B-side.
still in those days where they might release singles ahead of albums to promote the album, or they might just release singles because they're good songs and not even include them on an album.
So did you get into that? It wasn't even on like a David Bowie. It was under another name.
No.
Arnold.
Which song?
Horns. Moon Age Daydream was released
Like under a pseudonym?
I guess another band name, Arnold Corns.
Okay.
Which was a tribute to Syd Barrett's Arnold something.
Arnold
like-
Lane.
Yeah.
Would be, if there's an
Yeah.
Arnold in there, the
Yeah.
song is Arnold Lane.
Yeah. So that's a kind of another one of his heroes at the time was Syd Barrett.
Yeah.
And what Syd Barrett was doing
From Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd before he had some mental health issues of
Exactly. Yeah.
his own. And so it was released. There was what's called the Arnold Corns version of Moon Age Daydream, and then a backside of that was Hang On Yourself.
Okay.
And that was 1971. So that's the year before this was released. This album was released.
Right.
So I like Moon Age Daydream fine. Starman's really where I get 100%. I like 5 years. Starman is where I'm now fully on board.
Mm-hmm.
It's the to me it's Somewhere Over the Rainbow kind of redone as Starman. I mean,
All right.
he's a starman.
Oh, that's what you're
somewhere.
hearing?
Yeah, over. Yeah.
I'm going to say major seventh there, but
I don't know. I think you should nugget that thing.
All right.
See if David Bowie had any influence on Starman and Somewhere Over
if he
the
just
Rainbow.
if he just took the interval. I mean, there's only so many,
Right.
there's only so many notes, literally, and only so many intervals. But
The
that
Sheepdogs
is,
will tell you that.
yeah. But the but
But do you hear that?
Jesus. But Somewhere Over the Rainbow is actually one of the greatest songs of all time, and those notes that you sang are iconic. So,
He's a starman.
yeah, yeah, you heard
Yeah.
it better than I did.
I don't know.
All right, good.
Um,
Can't argue it.
And then I like He Ain't Easy.
All
I
right.
think it. If you those following along at home, listen to that song and listen to the start off of the drum beat on that. It's
Yeah.
and that
And I would
that is the one song that just totally sticks in my head of this.
That's really interesting because it's the one that I forgot was even on the
Yeah,
album.
yeah.
And I will say, even go back though to the original Ron Davies version, not even the Three Dog Night version, because the original Ron Davies version is really good. It's super bluesy, like it's
Yeah.
a down home bluesy bluegrass song, and sort of morphs into like a country bluegrassy sound. It's a pretty interesting song, even in its non-Bowie form.
Yeah, and then we talked about Lady Stardust already, and so that was
Yep.
David Bowie's kind of nod to Mark Bolan,
Mhm.
T-Rex or Tyrannosaurus Rex. I think they shortened it to T-Rex at some point.
Probably.
Yeah. So that's the
Bang a
kinda-
Gong would be the song that we all know by T-Rex, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and T-Rex was, in fact, a lot of this glam rock going on in the UK. It was very popular in the UK, but as big as T-Rex was, they never really crossed over
No.
so much. And that's one of the things Bowie is credited with, is this crossover. He made it in the United States in a way that a lot of other bands at that time didn't.
Yeah. And Mark Bolan himself died 77, I believe, or
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
78. Sometime in the late 70s, anyways.
Yep.
But the godfather of glam rock, I
For sure.
guess, yeah.
Wait. When you say he's the godfather of it, implies that he wasn't the actual start of it.
Godfathers really start the family, don't they?
I don't. Okay, I don't know where the
Grandfather?
definition of your terms
Grandfather?
are. Is the innovator? He was the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
He was the guy. He wasn't the. Well, you've talked about in the past how some people are like the Kinks maybe were the godfather of punk. They weren't punk themselves, but they somehow were the primordial ooze that punk came, evolved from. Mark Bolan was glam.
Well, it was glam. I agree.
Okay.
100%. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. The founder, the figurehead, the godfather, the grandfather,
Okay, I
father.
think you're just mixing your metaphors. So
probably.
So
All
go
right.
on. I search. It's so hard to understand you. I just trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Yeah. Same.
Go on.
So then we hit Starr.
Yes. Ziggy sellout song, right?
As a rock and roll star.
Yeah, like this is the song where he decides he doesn't just want to be a musician; he wants to be a star.
Right.
And he's actually, and he wants,
Ziggy, right.
and he's and he wants the acclaim, and he wants the excess, and he wants the everything that goes with it.
Right. Where he gets caught up in the.
Right.
He becomes that which he was trying to save.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. And again, one of the the second song so far that we hear still on
gets a lot of airplay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then
Hang On to Yourself.
Hang On to Yourself, which was another song that was previously released. It was on the B side of the Arnold Korn's version of Moon Age Daydream.
Yeah, I think this has real punk energy to it. I think, the interesting thing about glam itself and Bowie himself is how he influenced punk and hair metal, which I think are separate, right? I think they're two branches. So he actually, I think he actually influenced two branches of
Well, I think
music.
glam died and evolved into
but
hair
more
metal.
than hair metal, but also punk with the New York Dolls, and I think and I think I don't know. I hear this as being especially punky.
That's fine.
Personally,
I can live with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we hit the last three here are also all huge.
Yes.
We have Ziggy Stardust.
Right, which is in the perspective of the band talking about what a jerk Ziggy has
become,
and how they
Ziggy played guitar,
don't like him anymore. So he's his fall from grace. But what a fantastic song! What a defining song!
And my favorite line is "screwed up eyes and screwed down hairdo like some cat from Japan."
Right, and when he when he performed in like a kimono Japanese. Yeah. Right. So the Japanese theater was also an influence on this, and so it comes out in that lyric. It was intentional, So the lyric that caught my eye was a leper messiah. Or ear, I don't know. I guess if I read it, it caught my eye. But they said he performed like a leper messiah. And so by the look on your face, you want more explanation on that. And I did too. So I looked it up. And
how is leper spelled? Like
a leper, like Leper, not a leopard.
Well, that's what I was. Yeah,
leper as a biblical leper.
You have like a Chicago accent, so it's hard to kind of always understand. So like the biblical lepers, leprosy.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
So apparently there's a specific Hebrew meaning to this, which I'm going to gloss over because I think the second meaning is more appropriate. It describes a person as a false, manipulative, or exploitive religious leader.
Oh, sure.
And so they're calling him out as being a false
fraud.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, cool. Okay, it's another song you hear all the time on the terrestrial radio.
Yes.
Yeah.
How ironic.
Yeah.
All the space music on
if you accept my radical theory that he's an alien.
It's not that radical, it's just a theory. There's others.
Or the truth.
Come on. You're doing a pretty good job so far. I'll just let you keep going with this.
Now we got Suffragette City.
Yeah, which has the all-time great line of wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Did you hear the story? not really talking about the song here, but did you hear the story that he offered this song out to Mott the Hoople
all
before
right.
he recorded it here? He
was
tried
going
to give it to
Mott the Hoople, which he gave all the young dudes to.
Right, but that was after this.
Okay.
And that was, they said, no, you keep it. We're going to break up.
Oh, really?
And he said, no, don't do that. You're great. And he wrote all the young dudes for them.
Just
to get them to record. And so then they recorded that album, which is,
good
All the
for
Young
him.
Dudes is kind of a landmark album. And if you look down that set list, like
It's
the
all
first,
Bowie.
First song on side 2, is All the Young Dudes by David Bowie.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but he tried to give this song away.
All right,
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. Well, I don't know where he would have filled in the story if he had.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
So the way it plugs in here is he's just become such a deviant that.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That he's going after suffragettes.
Yeah.
Which are women who were trying to get the vote
right.
back in the 20s.
Right.
Right. So
yeah,
there's some age thing going on here.
Yeah. But it's to your point. I mean, this was one of the songs that was written beforehand. He had wrote a bunch of songs. He came back off of some tour, wrote a bunch of songs, recorded Hunky Dory, that album in '71, and had some leftover songs and an idea. Mm-hmm. And he put those together and plugged in other songs, and ended up.
There's no doubt that he was creating a persona with this act, and he was intentionally becoming somebody else. He was reinventing himself with this album, and that goes without saying almost.
Okay, and then the final song on the album is "Rock and Roll Suicide," which is the end of this story of the conclusion of Ziggy, where he dies at the hands of his fans. And again, so I think the Rock and Roll Suicide, it's not being a personal suicide, but it's giving his fate over to rock and roll, and rock and roll kills him. Yeah,
that's a nice way of putting it.
But he played this often, even after the Ziggy Stardust era, as kind of his last song.
So it's like a closer on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always like the "Oh No, You're Not Alone" part of it, because it's actually sort of uplifting in that way. And my interpretation of it is it has to do with this observer from earlier in the album not being actually the person that turned into Ziggy Stardust, and this observer is commenting on the situation and trying to encourage him and trying to lift him back up after he's hit rock bottom.
Yeah, very good. All right, so landmark album, perfect album.
This is for sure a landmark album. There's no question about it. Rolling Stone 40 created. It didn't. Again, we've gone over this. It can't really be credited with starting glam rock, but it certainly made it popular
mainstream.
And crossed it over to the United States. So a massive album. It's on the National Recording Registry as a significant cultural, historical, or aesthetic album. It's a consensus album of all time. Like any publication, it's just a whole bunch of 5 out of 5s, 10 out of 10s.
Are those contemporary or current?
No, at the time. You mean contemporary at the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pitchfork, the ever grumpy Pitchfork, gave a retrospective 10 out of 10 to this album, and I don't know that Pitchfork's given a 10 to any album. But at the same time, I don't know if Pitchfork was around at the time this album was released. I'm sure they would have given it a 4. But looking back, it's just a consensus masterpiece. Where I don't know where you come in on perfect album. I will call it a perfect album for myself, and just ignore It Ain't Easy. But you seem to like It Ain't Easy. So what do you think?
So this is the first time I've really. So I pondered this because there's songs I like better than others.
Always.
But I love the whole story, and I'm a little shocked you're not on board with the whole story.
Just because the story's not strong.
Yeah,
but go on.
There's not a direct through line.
Right.
There's not an A, B, C, D. So I understand how you might get lost.
Well, and
being more of a musician and not literary, not
go on.
Trained in the other arts.
I think there's other viewpoints on this album, but go on.
All right. But as I kind of was like going through these songs, and I even listened to it with my in the car with my wife Friday something again, so a couple days ago, and I come to the conclusion that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. That this is the first album that the album itself is greater than some of the individuals. That if you go, this is kind of weak, side one, there's some gaps, maybe this song is okay.
Right.
But collectively, because it kind of carries the story, it's like The Wall. The Wall has some weaker songs, but they tie the story together. It ties
everything together, yeah.
Or they're the pause.
Well, I've said this about previous albums, so I actually surprised that this is the first one that you think falls in this category. Because there have been other albums that we've covered that I thought, well, there's a weakness here and a weakness there, but the overall album is fantastic. So definitely, I agree with you. But I would say this is almost a double favorite album, meaning not only are there no skips in the album, but all the songs are favorites. The only weakness for me is It Ain't Easy. So you have it as a perfect album on the whole.
I say it's a perfect album because it should be digested as a collective.
Good.
It should be something that you listen to as a whole thing.
Right.
And if you listen to it as a whole thing, it's better. It's more. It's more satisfactory than if you pulled any single song out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it has a few really great legendary songs, but go ahead and listen. I concur. Yeah. Like, just listen to this album as a whole. And to your point, I had not listened to this album for a really long time. And maybe a couple years ago, it really wasn't just for this show. I pulled it out because I was just in the album listening phase. I'm like, I'm going to go back and listen to this album. And I was shocked at how good it was on the whole.
So this is one of 3 albums that I can think of, and this is 100% just personal, that I actually wore out and had to buy another copy.
Yeah.
And this
literally wore out the album.
Right. So there was too many just skips and, cracks and whatever and warps that I had to actually go buy.
And it wasn't just,
album.
that album's dead now, but it's like, no, I have to go out and get
it.
Another.
So this is one of, and I can only think of 3 times I had.
What
to
were
do
the?
that.
I mean, do you have the other?
I do. I know them. Yes, I do because I'm aware that I had to go. I was mad. I had to go buy another copy.
Okay.
And it was we've done another one of them. It was Trick of the Tail.
Okay.
Genesis. I absolutely adored that album for many years. And The Wall.
Okay. I've multiple copies of Hooligans, like the Who sort of compilation album.
Yeah.
And then
Who's Next was another one I played all the time, and Get Your Ya-Ya's Out by the Rolling Stones.
I mean, there were albums,
live albums that we don't do for some reason because you won't let us.
Oh my goodness. That's such a lie. Why do you lie to people? There's recorded evidence of you saying this stuff. And then the ones that really, I thought
you're right. It is the show's policy, but
it is the show's policy. I don't know. The other thing, just since we're talking about getting more than one copy of music, like how many did you have vinyl of, and then you had to go out and buy a CD of it later, or you had a cassette and then you bought a CD. Right. So. But worn out the album. I totally can see that.
Well, because you couldn't take the albums in your car.
No, you couldn't. So then you had to.
So
buy
then there was
CD.
CDs. So then you had. I had Trick of the Tail CD as well.
Yeah.
I did have that, and I had the Wall CD for sure. I
remember
it's because it was that double.
It was very
double
thick
album, so you had that thick case you had to deal with.
Yep, me too. I'm with you there.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, we'll leave this here, and now we got a live read.
We do. 2 Fat Guys in an Album is sponsored by Deeper Connections Counseling, helping people connect to themselves, the people they love, and the world around them through individual and couples therapy. For Illinois residents, both in person and online. More information at dcctherapy.com.
So once again, we deal with a musician or an artist that has been very open about some mental health struggles, kind of having got lost himself in the in the moment, in the stardom, got caught up by everything and started losing himself. And he had all the resources and help available to him readily, and still kind of got caught up and sucked up into all this. And we see this time after time again. It's not hard to do. Mental health is something that we all need to pay attention to ourselves. We need to take steps to protect our own mental health. And if we're having problems, there is no shame, there's no stigma, nobody cares anymore, about going out and talking to people, getting some help. You need somebody to talk to, don't sit on it, go talk to somebody. And if you're in Illinois, Deeper Connections Counseling is a wonderful great group of people to talk to. If you're outside of Illinois, still find somebody to talk to. You're worth it. Your family's worth it. The people you love are worth it. Get some help. Bad things, can happen on the other side. Deal with it when you can. And with that, we got a couple more announcements.
Hey, two fat guys and an album fans. This is Diane Blackburn, realtor with Baird & Warner and proud sponsor of this podcast. I pride myself in being committed to serve as a trusted real estate advisor for all my clients. Whether you're looking to sell, buy, rent, or lease, feel free to reach out and let's chat about how we can work together to make it happen. If you're watching, scan the QR code for my website or give me a call at 630-638-1999. See you on the flip side.
Are you someone who needs help with their Instagram or TikTok? Well, you're in luck. LR Media is here to help. Email me at laurarose2003@aol.com to get started. Let's make your social media shine.
Okay, so side two, we kind of do this kind of what's going on, what we're listening to, what maybe some music we saw. I know you just came from a show.
I did. So I'm wearing my Buddy Guy shirt.
All hail Buddy Guy.
Yeah, so I actually saw him last night. This is my last year shirt for him. So we've talked about Buddy Guy. He's a legend. I believe he's 89. Yeah, and he's one of the original guys.
The last of the blues.
So we've said enough about him. He was phenomenal. He's always phenomenal. He's still very entertaining on stage. So go see him. The person I want to talk about is the opening act. Jamiah Rogers was opening for him, and he plays sort of a blues rock. There's a lot of Jimi Hendrix in there when he gets worked up. Like, he plays some traditional blues, but he does a ton of original music, and when he gets going, he starts to sound like Jimi Hendrix, and you can just hear it. Sometimes he has that psychedelic blues sound going on, but he's got tons of influence. It's not just one guy. He's not a Jimi Hendrix sound-alike. He's got a new song called Chicago Cowboy. Could be the best blues song of 2026. And
Chicago
Cowboy, and it's on Chicago's own Delmark Records. And it has kind of a Metallica bass line, so it's really kind of got a heaviness to it. It sounds almost like Hendrix plus Metallica. But one of the cool things is at the end of his set, Buddy gave him a polka dot guitar and declared him one of the young guns, one of the guys that he is putting in charge of carrying on the blues tradition. Yeah, and he's doing this with more than one person, but I think Jamiah was touched to receive this guitar, and it was, to have someone literally sort of pass the baton on to you was pretty cool. It was pretty good to see. So, check out Jamiah Rogers. Pretty good. He's got a full album out already that you can find on Apple Music, and he's got a brand new single, the Chicago Cowboy, and I think there's a full album coming out soon from him.
So, having been like a child really of the late 70s, we were probably in grade school, kind of finding our music, and then really the '80s we kind of have our era, right? Our high school, college era,
right.
and so that was a very different sound. We at some point, like around legal drinking age, so the late '80s, stepped back into the world of the blues.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like, okay, you're doing some different type of music, but being kind of a rock based fans,
Yes.
it's very easy to dip into the blues because so much of rock comes from the blues.
Virtually
right?
everything.
I even mentioned it on the show already. Get Your Yayas Out is a live album by the Rolling Stones that I actually adored, and that is so bluesy.
Yes.
And so the blues kind of is very easy to kind of step into. So when you say, you're listening to or you saw a guy who sounded a lot like Hendrix, it makes sense because so
Hendrix
much of that
clearly was.
yes.
I
I mean, that's all. Yeah, it kind of took the blues into the psychedelic
Exactly.
era, but really those influences are theirs. And as you go back in some of the, Hey Joe or something, it's the blues.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So it was very comfortable going into the blues because it's the music.
It was familiar.
Yeah.
In a
Very.
way that you weren't sure
Yeah.
of. Like you didn't realize it was familiar, but it was.
And so you saw the stripped down roots of rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this guy does do sort of some traditional stuff, but he's also definitely advancing. So even though I point to him as Jimi Hendrix,
Mustang Sally.
I don't know. He did not play it. Yeah, Mustang, great song though. Nothing against it.
Yeah.
So he does his own. Yeah, he's definitely a forward-moving blues artist, but you can hear the influences of the past.
I miss some of those other Magic Slim and
Oh, I know.
Otis Clay. And
They were the best. They were so good, and that's why Buddy Guy. Even if you see modern blues acts, very few of them sound exactly like the music that we fell in love with. So that's why Buddy is.
We
so
just
special.
caught the end of those,
right?
On total accident,
right?
I mean, we weren't any.
We were just right place, right time.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
Exactly. So I'm listening to shifting this topic a little bit.
Yes.
I haven't gone to see. I didn't go see Buddy Guy with you. I had other obligations, but I dipped my toe in. I don't know, last month or so, but I've really started getting into the band Big Thief.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Brooklyn kind of indie folk rock band. They've been around since, I don't know, probably a decade now.
Okay.
I think their first album was 2015, 2016. They put out a new album September of last year called Double Infinity, which makes you think it's a double album, but it's not.
Also makes you wasn't it a Journey album also?
Yeah, right. Yeah. But they're a trio. The vocalist is Adrienne Lenker, Lenker.
Mm-hmm.
Buck Meeks on guitar, and James, not even going to attempt it, like Kurvachenna.
I don't know. It's your song, man. Don't look at me.
Kurvachenna, on drums.
Yeah.
James, go get him, Jimmy. Yeah. But they have a song you want to kind of try. I sent it to you.
Yeah, I listened to
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And it's
fantastic.
Yeah, the folk rock.
No, I loved it.
They come around. I mean, they would be fun to see at Salt Shed or something.
Yeah, and I only listened to this one song. The Adriana.
Yeah.
She has an amazing voice. She reminds me of Emmylou Harris. And Emmylou Harris is one of my all-time favorites, and she just has the natural charm to her voice. I don't know if the whole album sounds like this song. If it does, I am 1,000% in. This song was an instant favorite for me.
There's a warmth to these songs and a folksiness.
Yes.
And I'm gonna try to describe her lyrical style. And it's not on all the songs, but it's here and it's on several other songs. But it's like one of these like stream of consciousness lyrics.
Exactly.
Lyrics where she's just kind of talking and telling telling what's going on in her head. Or
Yeah, it has a little bit of a Joni Mitchell thing
Yeah,
or a
yeah,
Paul
yeah,
Simon thing
yeah,
going
yeah.
on. Yeah, she falls into that. Like the
Yeah.
lyrics, some of the lyrics are very. She has a lot of similes, and
Similes, yeah.
and some colorful word usage and very descriptive. And then at times she just falls into this stream of consciousness in the middle of the song, and it's really
it's
fun.
fun.
That's what happens in the song. I agree completely.
So that song is Los Angeles. It's off of the Double Infinity album from September of last year. The band is Big Thief. I'm excited. I hope they come somewhere around Chicago and we can see them this summer.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out the rest of the album too because I like the song so much.
Yeah, and another song to kind of listen to. They played on like I think Stephen Colbert's show in 2023, 2022, something like that. But it was called Vampire Empire, which is the first time I heard them.
That rhymes.
Yeah, Vampire Empire. So another good song, but I'm digging this album. So, and the song again is Los Angeles. Band is Big Thief.
Yeah, thumbs up for me as well.
Yep.
And I've got one more. I sent you one. 6 going on 7.
Yeah.
Was the band. Human Tears is the song and the album. But I just
title track, if you will.
The title track. Yeah, and I'm just kind of curious what you thought of it. I have my own ideas, but before I blather on, like, did you like
blather.
the song?
Yeah, it was.
You did.
Yeah.
Cool. No, I'm really glad you liked it. It's sort of an 80 influenced indie retro progressive pop. Is kind of what I would call it. It's like, it's that.
Well, there's definitely an 80s vibe.
Yeah, it's for sure an 80s vibe. Yeah, I call it kind of progressive
pop.
Progressive pop because like the song I sent you sort of had some Phil Collins drums going on in it. It had a fairly complicated beat. It sounded a little like synth era Rush and Joe Satriani. Like I have all those flavors in that song. But not quite as complicated as any of those bands that I just said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's sort of pseudo progressive.
So the guy who hates genres, don't put people in boxes, is
it's just not quite.
I'm
just trying to.
You're
describe
creating a new box.
You're
assembling a box on the floor here. Go on.
Because I don't think they fit into the. I am. I'm just gonna say yes. I'm not even gonna argue that. But I thought it was really good, and I did listen to the whole album actually, and I recommend it to you. I think it's good flying music. I think you would enjoy it. It has all those elements kind of throughout, and I'm gonna just declare that the best album of 2026 right now.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Give me the name and
the band is 6 going on 7.
Yep.
The album is Human Tears, and the song that I suggested is the title.
So is this
track.
like a 6-7 thing?
Oh, apparently it is. I don't know.
6-7.
I don't know. It's
6-7.
Yeah, I know. I'm a teacher.
Yeah. I had my youngest.
I'm coming back to the a handful of throat right about now.
All right. Well,
so
anything else, or should we flip?
No,
this
that's
thing
all.
over?
That's all I got for now.
All right, then let's flip this thing over and do side 3. We'll be back after a couple more messages.
Two Fat Guys and an Album is sponsored by MKE Video. From podcasts to training videos, we're the best in the Midwest. To learn more, email Elliot at mkevideo.com.
Side 3. This is our Beyond Classic Rock. So we're really, I think the goal of this side has always been to expose classic rock fans to modern music or some kind of
hidden gems,
something that may have slipped by the classic music people,
right?
But to kind of get people away from the same 7 albums or 7 pieces of music they listen to all the time.
Okay,
that there's other music out there.
There is
that is fantastic and phenomenal, and that's really the mission of the show.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
I agree with that.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk about the band Arctic Monkey.
Monkeys.
Sorry.
Yeah, plural.
Put an S on that.
All right.
And the 2018, I believe I'm
Yes, it
correct,
is.
the 2018 album, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino.
Yeah.
Now, traditionally when we do the show, one of us picks the main album.
Right.
And one of us picks the secondary album.
Right, just out of sort of fairness.
Yeah,
and,
just mix and match kind of thing.
Exactly.
But you came with both of these.
It was a pair. It was a twofer for me.
So,
I felt like this had to pair.
So you wanted to pair these together. So
Right.
My question would be, what did you see here that made you pair these, and why did you want to do that and felt so strongly about it?
Well, I know in the past, we had gone with the sort of idea of maybe getting a modern version of the album. We've done, try to get some, I don't know what the word is, but just
synergy.
Synergy, yeah. The albums that sometimes I like to get stuff that's completely different and stands on its own, because this is my second album choice for. I'm not stating this, but the third album side I've chosen 2 weeks in a row.
Yes.
And last week I chose Florence and the Machine, which was didn't really match up to the album. It was a standalone on its own. This one, on the other hand,
but a good enough album that we needed to talk about.
it was an excellent album. This album, also a really good album, is a US 4 and a UK 1. The Arctic Monkeys are a really great indie band. And this album in particular, when I first heard it, it stood out to me like, oh my gosh, this sounds like David Bowie. Like, there's a real David Bowie connection for this album.
Yeah.
And the single from this album was 4 out of 5, and it was an instant favorite of mine. I loved 4 out of 5, but I also instantly heard the influence of David Bowie on that song, kind of in the vocal stylings and all that. So I thought it, I think it's a really great album, and by a really great band, and I thought it connected nicely with the Ziggy Stardust album. This album has, there's a space element to it. It's the Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. Yeah. So the idea is you've created a resort on Mars, not on Mars, on the moon, and this album is
on Tranquility Base.
On Tranquility Base, right, where
yeah.
the moon landing was, and the sort of main idea is you have this rock star who's no longer a rock star, and he's now just a lounge singer on the moon.
Right.
And and so there's the album itself is sort of, if I might, indie lounge, if I may just dip my toe one more time to genres here. Sort of indie lounge, and it's pretty cool. Again, I was attracted to the single 4 out of 5, but then I listened to the whole album and really enjoyed it. And it is a concept album. The songs, all fit together. They all have musically, they have the same style, and they all sort of are about this moon-based situation. But it also talks about, first of all, I could say a lot of the stuff that they're talking about here applies today. There's some political commentary. There's some commentary about social media, and some of the things that I suppose that he was trying to alert us to really haven't gotten any better. And so this album is...
I would say the same with David Bowie.
Yeah, no, for sure it is.
Yeah,
I mean, how many of those albums have we talked about that we say these things could they could have come out today and just been as timely almost. But yeah, you have the Arctic Monkeys. They're from Sheffield, England. They formed in 2002. You know who else is from Sheffield, England? Joe Cocker, Pulp, Def Leppard, and the Human League.
Wow.
Yeah. So a little bit of everything there. And the Arctic Monkeys have a Rolling Stone Top 500 album. I think the Arctic Monkeys album is on your list, is it not, of top albums?
It is.
Yeah. So their album AM, which is the album that preceded this one, is also a Rolling Stone 346. And this album actually reminds me, we did Panic at the Disco, which we had paired up with Sgt. Pepper.
Right.
And Panic at the Disco is another band that just took a complete left turn. They had a super popular album, and they reinvented themselves with that. And the Arctic Monkeys did the same thing, specifically inspired by David Bowie. They admired David Bowie, and so one of the things, not only did some of the vocal stylings, I don't think this whole album sounds like David Bowie, but a couple songs definitely do, and but also taking from his influence was the idea of just reinventing yourself and not being afraid to move forward with your art.
Yeah, it's great. There was a review in the magazine Q of this that the reviewer said, and I quote, "A strange, wonderful album, one that almost feels like Arctic Monkeys have embarked on their own full band side project."
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think there's Did you? I mean, I could comment on that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, because this album did come out a couple of years after AM, and Alex Turner, who's the primary songwriter and really the leader of the band, he's
the monkey.
He is the Arctic Monkeys. Yeah, although 3 out of the 4 band members are original members. I think only the bassist had left the band.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. So he was like just completely blocked. He did not know what to do next. And he went to the piano and started writing songs and came up with these songs. And he kind of thought of it as he didn't know the band was going to embrace it, quite honestly. Yeah. You know, he was prepared to
it's very, very different.
It's really different.
Yeah.
So he was fully prepared to have the band reject these songs. But when he took the songs to the band, they were like, "No, this, let's do this." And so the band, I think, wholeheartedly embraced these songs, and it became a true Arctic Monkeys project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, do you want to talk about the Monkeys?
The Arctic Monkeys?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think we just did.
So that's Alex Turner. I mean,
Alex Turner. You've got Jamie Cook, the guitarist, and the baritone guitar. I was waiting for you to ask a question about like what's a baritone guitar. And it's just, I'm just gonna go. It's a bigger guitar. You have regular guitar. You have bass guitar, right? And the baritone guitar would be in the middle. It would be higher pitched than the bass guitar and lower pitched than a regular guitar.
And why would you want this?
Well, because it allows you to get different tone qualities. Any instrument family, and to be fair, I've never heard of a baritone guitar before this day. But all instrument families, say the clarinet, you know, you have clarinet, alto clarinet, bass clarinet, and it's more, you know, you have saxophones, alto, soprano, alto, tenor, bass. And essentially you're able to play the instrument the same way, but sound lower or sound higher, you know. So the baritone guitar, I assume, plays the same as a regular guitar, but it's lower pitched. And so you're just getting a lower pitched sound, but you're playing it the same as a guitar.
So we were standing at a concert, Local H opened for him. The band escapes me.
Yeah. Everclear. Right.
And their bass player had what looked like a giant bass. I mean, it seemed like it had a much longer neck.
Was it an upright bass? I swear
No.
don't remember this
No,
at
because
all.
I asked you about it. You're like, oh, yeah, that's a big bass.
That's just a big bass.
Yeah. I mean, is that...
But it was a bass guitar?
Yes. So he was playing it. He was spotlighted for a while.
All right.
He was on the left side as we were looking. We were kind of standing along the wall. And he was...
So I would just, without...
So the question really doesn't evolve around him. Does the length of the neck of a bass change what you can do with it? Why would
I would say what it changes...
It just seems harder to carry around.
It is bigger. Guitars and, basses can be smaller or larger, and they compensate for... but they make the same sounds. To answer your question, it's not the same as, say, a baritone guitar. So you can get a smaller or larger bass, but you can compensate with thickness of strings or design or whatever to get the same sound, so the longer neck does not necessarily mean you're playing lower, which, scientifically that's what you would assume. But what it does allow is for you to have more frets. So ironically, it probably allows you to play higher. By having a longer neck, you can fit more frets on the neck, and then therefore, as you go higher and higher, you have more. The longer neck gives you more range, but on the high end, not necessarily the low end. Now, if you were playing an upright bass, you would see in jazz or classical music, they do have bass extensions actually that will go on top of the bass and will allow you to play lower notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating. All right. Well, let's now that I totally sidetracked us, let's go through the
well, I like this.
We generally don't go.
No. So 4 out of 5 is the single. It's my favorite song on the album. I also like Tranquility Base Hotel Casino quite a bit. That's a really good song. I like the name of the last song, the Ultra Cheese. Because again, it's a lounge singer, and I think he's just fully embracing this lounge. But I think the album is really, really good. Like you had said, I like this album as a whole. It's a really good concept album. It's really good on its own. I remember when I first listened to it, having heard AM and being aware of the Arctic Monkeys and hearing 4 out of 5 and thinking, wow, this is really cool and different. And then listening to the whole album and just being quite honestly amazed that they would take this turn. And I loved it. I wasn't like such a big Arctic Monkeys fans that I was like offended by it. It's what have they done? They can't.
Right. Same.
Right. And so when I listened to it, I was like, oh, this is a really cool album. So those are the 2 songs I would point to, like if you just want to pick out a couple songs to listen to. But my advice, if you like those 2 songs, is check out the whole album. Because it is, I think, worth a listen, and I think it's worth a deep dive. Pay attention to the lyrics, and because it is easy, because it is loungy. So there's a sort of subtle snarkiness to it. You know what I mean? There's like some subversiveness here.
Oh, definitely.
Because the music is sort of disguising the message in these songs. So I like it.
All right. So here's So the 2 songs you mentioned as well. Again, we're talking about the 2018 Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino by the Arctic Monkeys. And the 2 songs you mentioned is track 4, which is the Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino title track itself, and track 6, 4 out of 5, which would be the 2 I would also recommend, although I think She Looks Like Fun and The Bath Phone are fun songs.
Totally,
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's... but it is the album as a whole, as a package, is a lyrically driven album that you must listen to.
Yes.
So you listen to it once, you're not going to get it. I guarantee you. It's something you got to experience a couple of times.
It's a listening album.
When I heard it, you shared it with me several years ago.
Yes.
And the first thing I went to is, oh my God, that's David Bowie. I mean,
you can't help
Ziggy Stardust, all over again.
Yeah.
It's a concept album, and it all kind of went, oh, I get
It's
it.
about space.
Exactly,
blah, blah, blah.
exactly.
Right.
And I thought it was very, very different from what the Arctic Monkeys that I knew before. So I thought they were actually paying homage to David Bowie because he had just passed away.
I don't know if that was their intention.
I don't think it was. I mean, I couldn't find that anyways, but
right.
I thought that's exactly what this was, and good for them.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because he died in like 2016, and this came out in 2018. Yeah. I thought, they wrote this as kind of a hats off paying their.
I mean, they are fans of David Bowie, but
clearly,
I don't know that this was an homage.
No, it probably wasn't. Yeah. But that's just
that was just what your
initial
thought.
Having listened to it again, and this is really the first time I was sort of, just because we were prepping for the show, that it was kind of a side-by-side album. You know, I had to listen to both albums, right?
Right.
So it was side-by-side. And my takeaway here after doing this, and it pains me to say, is that, Ziggy Stardust, that album, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. This is not the case. You can pull songs out of here and let the rest of it go. This is less than the sum of its parts.
Okay.
So I was happy, content with this, although I did think it was a lot of work to kind of, because it is a lyrically driven, you have to listen to it.
It was a lot of work this week, kind of unintentionally.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
I
and maybe
agree.
that's where I was just irritated.
No,
busy week, and now I have to.
No, it was, but again, I think that's a sign of a really good album. Like if you can dig into it, it's worth digging into. So, is this going to be the legendary album that Ziggy Stardust is? No, it's not. Of course, it's not on that level. But again, it's a very, very good album, worth your time. For me, it's, I think I think it's a really great. It's really great as an entire album. I don't have any specific skips. Like I like every song on the album, but they just don't. You can't really pull out, for me, favorites. Like, there aren't singles. There aren't like 11 hits on this album.
They didn't release a single either.
Oh, I think 4 out of 5
I don't think
was
they
the
did.
single.
We'll look.
But at any rate, it's not the kind of album that it has 11 hits. It's really, some of the songs like that we mentioned stand out on their own. The others work best in the context of the entire album. And for sure, there aren't very many albums at all that stand up to Ziggy Stardust.
No, I would agree. So how many Fat Guys?
For this, I'd probably go 7 Fat Guys.
Yeah, I'm more in the 6 range.
Yeah,
but
it's fair.
I think it's worth listening to. If you're a huge fan of, and who isn't, of Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah.
This is a great complimentary album.
Yeah.
It is more work than Ziggy Stardust to listen to. It does have a better through line.
Yes. Yes,
or
it
an
does.
easier through line. Okay. Any other comments there? Okay.
Oh, I think
right.
I think it was good. Just listen to the album. Check it out.
Yeah. So now we don't have a sponsor right at the moment, so we're going to flip this over live as you listen to us. We're going to flip this over
It
to
just happened.
side 4.
Maybe we should have a sound effect of the album dropping on the spindle, or
Wasn't there some record that turned itself over?
I think so, but I didn't have the budget to own
Yeah,
that.
we have to have the visual of the
Well,
album,
or
but-
even like a jukebox, an old timey
Jukebox
jukebox
with
would
the
pull
little
the
drop.
record out
Yeah,
and
yeah.
mechanically
Yeah,
put the
could
album
live
on.
to turn it over too.
Yeah,
You can turn it over.
definitely.
Or the sound of, remember you had to load the albums? There was an arm.
Yeah, you could put
Load
3
it-
or 4 albums on top of
load
each
it,
other,
just
and
push it,
right
drop
when
it,
one
yeah.
album finished, the next would start.
Yeah.
All the good old days.
Yeah.
The good old.
The
And you didn't
analog
have to
days.
get up and so you didn't have to get up and flip the album, right? You would just pick your favorite album sides, but you would have 3 or 4 different albums lined up.
All right. Well, let's side 4 here. The first step on side 4 is to rank the albums. So we're taking our main album, which is The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars,
Yeah.
and rank this on our list of now 33.
33 albums.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well,
last time we talked about Excitable Boy, which was my pick that you managed to rank in the basement. I think it's
just above the basement.
just above
Just
the
above
Dream
the
of the Blue
basement.
Turtle.
But there's 30. No. Look, there are 33 great albums that we have covered.
32,
there is no
yes.
shame on to any of these albums.
No,
And
they are.
and
Yeah.
honestly, like the ranking, is semi-annoying to me because they really are great albums, and you could listen to any of the 33, which, by the way, there are shows of. Every album has a corresponding show. So if you look at that list,
and we have a kind of a soundtrack of the show too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We have on Apple Music. We have starting up the new playlist for 2006.
Right.
That'll be linked in the description, as well as the full list of 33 albums. You may feel free to order them any way you want, or comment on how correct I am and how astute my rankings are. The top of the list, of course, is Sgt. Pepper #1 and Moondance by Van Morrison #2. After that, like you said, we have to figure out where does Ziggy Stardust go. And as I've already said, this is a mega landmark, practically double perfect album. Rolling Stone has it 40 on their current list. And I will say, if you look at the Rolling Stone list, there's a lot of albums there that we're just throwing out. Like they're not really
us
in our
wheelhouse.
Yeah. So so that's going to bump it up the list as far as I'm concerned. It was a glam rock defining album. It crossed over to the United States. Consensus, blah, 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 10 out of 10 from everybody. It's a big, big, big album. I have it 4th on our list right now. I have it as the 4th album of the Two Fat Guys rankings. It is behind Led Zeppelin 4, which I probably actually like Ziggy Stardust better. But Led Zeppelin 4 is such a mega album and sold like 25 million copies or something that I just couldn't. And I have it ahead of The Doors' 1967 self-titled album. So it is in rarefied air.
I think it's pretty close. I think I was just glancing. And I think it ends up 5th on my list of those if we take the 33, which is saying something because it's definitely a top 20 album for me.
Yeah.
And always has been.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to beat this album. It's going to I don't know what we're picking next week. I don't know what we're picking next week. And
I have one.
Oh, do you? All right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll let you share with the audience. But
we had discussed it, but that was my pick. I don't know.
Yeah, great. And so, I think it's a great album. It's going to be at the top of the list for a long time, I think.
Yeah, definitely be in our top 10 for quite a while.
Yep.
All right. We'll leave that there, and we'll stay tuned to see where the show ranks it on episode 40.
Can't wait.
Yeah. All right. So next time, surprise there, Maestro.
Yeah.
We are going to go a little bit more modern, or
all right,
closer to modern.
Yeah.
And Ziggy Stardust, anyways, with Pearl Jam and their epic album 10.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So look forward to that next week. We'd like to thank our production team, Chauncey there from MKE Video, for all he does for us, putting these shows together and cleaning up our messes. Our PR team from LR Media, our sponsors, Deeper Connection Counseling. You're worth it. Get help if you need it. Talk to somebody. Diane Blackburn from Beard & Warner, MKE Video, and LR Media. And with that, I'm Fat Guy 1.
Fat Guy 2.
We'll see you next time. It's a real one.
They were talking about the Bears game, and
who's they?
I was on the radio.
The people in the little box.
It wasn't during the Bears game. It was on the score, or something like that. Yeah. And they had Howie Long used to play for the Bears, right? Mm. Yeah. Who was the guy that used to play for the Bears? His son. Long. Howie Long played for the Raiders, but then his son played for the Bears.
Phil Long?
No.
Go.
It wasn't funny. So the member of the Long family that played for the Bears.
The fact that you said "go long" in your head.
I didn't see it coming.
But you had to say it in your head. Go long?
No, that's not on it. Hippopotamus. Yeah. So
yeah.
So they're talking about not getting too worked up in the football game, because the last time the Bears played the Packers, they took a bunch of penalties right at the beginning because there was a very intense emotional game. And so one of the questions that they had asked Mr. Long was, how do you avoid not getting caught up in the emotions? And he goes, yeah, that's for sure. Like, that's a concern because you don't want to end up with somebody's throat in your hand. You don't want to end up with a handful of throat is actually what he said. Yeah. And that popped into my head because I thought I might strangle you soon. You keep it up.
There's a star